Meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather at about 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm a couple of minutes late. That's okay. Hope that's okay with you. Beautiful start to our day. We're talking about gorgeous weather today, but we do have that heat and that humidity. Go figure. It's also, mid-July. Here are the top two things that we are monitoring. First and foremost, we are, of course, looking ahead to the weekend. It's beautiful, but we need to fine-tune those shower and thunderstorm forecasts. And for today and these next few days, we, of course, also have activities, right? Let's go have some fun. We're going to get into all of that, plus a check of the tropics. But first, a live look outside, our moment of zen. It is absolutely beautiful. As we peek outside on our Tower Cam network, the sun shimmering out there in Brevard County. This is a look from our Cocoa Tower Cam. Current temperature, we're cycling that on the bottom of your screen, but you can see over in Brevard County, we're sitting in the 70s and 80s, mid-70s through the metro, lower 70s up to the north. Got to tell you, that feels nice and fresh, right? First warning, live Doppler radar, actually showing a few teeny tiny little sprinkles. There's not much there, but there are a few, just a few. Look out there around Claremont. You see that there? Just a few teeny tiny little sprinkles. Could even, let's see, before I say it's sprinkles, let's just look and see if that's actually rain. Oh no, it's not. It's bugs and birds and things. That's the advantage of having correlation coefficient. The radar can tell if it's water droplets or if it's other things. And it's other things. So, okay, no rainfall out there. It looked like it. You fooled me once. All right, so where do we go from here on this beautiful Friday morning? We are headed to the upper range of the 80s by 11 o'clock. Lower 90s by 1 and mid 90s by 3 o'clock. It's going to be a nice, hot forecast across Central Florida. Good times. Let's take you neighborhood by neighborhood and just see what's doing. Here you go. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Sorry, had to send a text message. Okay, 94 though our high temperature today in Orlando. 92 degrees in Leesburg. 91 for us in the Villages. 91 degrees in Ocala. So it's a nice warm forecast. We're going to keep the temperatures up before those showers and those thunder showers arrive. So let's take a look at Futurecast, show you hour by hour. And let's just go through lunchtime. We're good. After lunch, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, you can see those showers and storms kind of bubbling around town and then just kind of moving about the cabin, for lack of a better term. So yeah, a couple of showers, couple of storms. Nothing too crazy for today. We're overall kind of drying up the atmosphere just a little bit. We've got some Saharan dust that's marching into town. So it's a good day if you want to head to the area beaches. Bright sunshine, 8 o'clock this morning. Seas and surf running about 1 to 2 feet. That's not bad. Water temperatures mid-80s. Also not bad. You do notice, though, by 5 p.m., we're looking at the best chance for showers and thunder showers to be inland. So I actually think along the coastline, we're going to be doing pretty okay there. Really nice forecast for you. If you're wanting to head to the water parks to cool down, here's Typhoon Lagoon. Opens up at 10 o'clock this morning. Hot, hazy, humid, 94 degrees the high temperature. Maybe you're heading over to Hollywood Studios today. Same idea, just have to watch for those isolated showers and thunder showers. And one point of note, when we look at the feels like temperatures, the heat index, notice today we're going to be hanging in the 90s. The humidity has come down just enough that we're able to stay out of the triple-digit feels-like temperatures, at least for now. That'll change, certainly. We've got plenty of summer left, but we're at least getting a little more comfortable. So for what it's worth, that little bit counts, right? Becky, good morning to you. David, Bob, how are y'all? John, Marie, good morning, good morning. Daniel says 2 inches in just over an hour in Cedar Key last night. First good rain of the year. Interesting. Yeah, we were talking about that last night when it was storming at my house. How we haven't gotten a ton of massive rains, which actually makes me wonder how much we ended up seeing for the day. We got 0.15 for the day. How interesting. Not much. 0.15 inches of rain. All right, not even a quarter of an inch. Mickey, good morning to you. I guess it was just rough around us, huh? Carmery, good morning. Yesterday was horrible around 5 p.m. at Magic Kingdom. Should have listened to you. I saw hail yesterday. Yeah, I saw some decent hail out at the Contemporary, and somebody had sent video from the Contemporary. Somebody had sent some from the Polynesian. So, look, if you're heading out, no matter what it is this afternoon, we've got another chance of storms. I do think that the severity will probably be a little bit less, but it's still something that we have to watch, right? Indeed, Chris. Good morning to you, David. Good morning. Let's see here, Jamie. How are ya? Off to Sanford to drop my son off, flying to Pennsylvania. Shauna, very cool. Let's check out well, this is Orlando, but let's just see what the National Airspace System is showing. Let's see here. All right, so National Airspace System. So out of Orlando International Airport, at least, no delays. Heading up to Pennsylvania, let's look at the airspace system up that direction. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. How about down here in the Deep South? Hub airports and things, yeah. As far as the big board goes over at MCO, this is what everybody, of course, cares about, right? And I haven't traveled in a little while, so I'm like trying to figure out what time I need to get to the airport next week. I think my flight's at 11 a.m. on Monday, so I'm like, well, maybe I'll do coffee talk from the car, and then get there, like if 11, 10, I get there at 8:30, something like that. What do you think? For those of you that have traveled here recently, you tell me what you think. We've just reported on so many of these nightmares, and I just don't want to have to deal with that. Ann says, chat not refreshing on my end. I see it. Yeah, Jessica, I don't know. The computer sent out a tweet from like 3 weeks ago randomly. I had a couple of meteorologist friends actually reach out to me about it, and it's like, I deleted it real quick. I don't know why it was talking about a system developing in the tropics. That's not the case, so I apologize. It was up for all of 1 minute, and I'm just glad that people let me know. I was just cooking. I was making coffee. A tweet from like a month ago went out at 6 a.m., so I'm making coffee, and all of a sudden my phone blows up. I'm like, what's happening? Big, bright, very thick lightning last night. Yeah, it was big. I used to, when I used to travel more, I had pre-check, but I don't, Stephen, anymore. Yeah. Where in Boston? I think it's Andover. Is that where it is? I think that's where it is. It is, yeah, Andover. Andover, Mass. There you go. We flew Delta on 7-2, no problems. Got there 2 hours early. All right, so that's the idea, yeah. So probably I'll do coffee talk either from the car or from the airport and just take it easy. Comments not advancing. Weird. I think you'll be good with getting there after coffee talk. No, we'll see. We'll see. Jeannie's dropping me off. I'm not parking. I don't have to deal with that. Let's see here. We're flying out of Orlando at 5:30, so we'll be there at 3:30. There you go. Oh, that sounds fun, Beverly. I want to go to Colorado in the summer. Bet you that weather's awesome. All right, so we're looking pretty good here at home. All right. Looks great. Muggy meter's definitely going to be up, but what else are you going to do? When we look at the tropics, let's just take a look. See what's doing. Happy to report, by the way, that at least for now, there is nothing brewing. That's why you can imagine everybody freaking out on that tweet from earlier. Or that, was it a tweet? Or it was a tweet. It's like, no idea. My sister used to live in Andover. Snotty people call it Andova. Yeah. I'm going to call it Andover. I don't know. Have her drop you off at arriving flights. Less traffic. Jill. Hashtag pro tip. That's what I was going to do. Yeah, for sure. And you don't have the people that are like, anyway, yes, exactly. All right, so tropics for right now, nice and quiet. You can see the open Atlantic, a couple of waves, not much doing. One interesting stat, and I love data, and I just updated this before we popped on to Coffee Talk. The ACE number, and this is kind of how we forecast and look back at seasons as a whole, at storms as a whole. Every storm that has developed and is named, it is given an ACE score, which stands for accumulated cyclonic energy. The bigger the storm, the stronger the storm, the longer the storm lives, that all adds up, okay? It's not just like, oh, there's 7 named storms. Well, what if 6 of those were named less than a day and they were like tiny dots? They're not going to accumulate a lot of ACE, whereas you have one storm that's massive, has been named for a long time, that accumulates a lot of ACE. So this is a really good metric. This is what you use as a metric for cyclone activity for the season. Thus far this year, we have generated 2.8 ACE points. Last year through today, 13.2 ACE points. And I will also add to that while it is 13.2 ACE points, last year through August is when last year really kicked in. So we sit at 13.2 ACE points last year all the way through 226, which is August 13th. So August 13th is when that ACE of 13.2 starts skyrocketing. There must have been a big hurricane there. But the 30-year average for ACE points through today is 6.4. So we are now half as active as is average through today. Okay, so if it seems like it's been a relatively quiet season, yes. And then your idiotic son says it's all about that ACE. Because that's what Frank, that's what Frank. I see what you did there with the double entendre. Yeah, it is though. I mean, that's a great metric. So we're running quieter than average. So for all of you putzes, not in this group, but for all the putzes that are like, oh, they never say that it's below average right now. This is usually the quiet time, sure, but we're below average, okay? Hopefully we stay that way. Tom says, we love the Saharan dust. Keep it coming. Oh, and it is. Let me show it to you. That Saharan dust is just going to continue flowing on through. As soon as I type that, and I'll show it to you. All right, so here's where it is right now in comparison to like the entire Gulf of Mexico. And you can see the Caribbean, the Gulf, pretty much covered in Saharan dust, which is super fine. The open Atlantic, not much different there. Let me pull up the camera shot. I'll widen the shot out, and you can see same idea, right? Hold on. 2018 tropical reset. All right. So here's the wide perspective. Lots of orangish shade there. That's the Saharan dust. As long as that sticks around, we stay good. And here's the animation over the next few days' time, okay? Watch all that Saharan dust. Just continue to plume right in our direction. Come on in. I love it. Now, again, heading into the mid-season, that Saharan dust does usually quiet down. But through this weekend, yeah, you're going to have beautiful sunrises, beautiful sunsets, but keeps those tropics nice and quiet, which I love it. Chris says, tell your dad good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
He's sitting right next to me. I love it. Good morning to you. Oh, you as well, Crystal. Good morning. The tropics are shut down. Let's not wake it, right? Like, let's not play Russian roulette in the tropics. But, yeah, things are nice and quiet. So let's look at the model data. Give me a second. Do that. And let's just look and see if there's anything wanting to get feisty. All right, so this is and we look at the raw data together. I'll just show the entire Atlantic basin. Oh, I hit the Arabian Sea. I'm like, what view is that? All right, so this is the entire Atlantic basin. This is the GFS 6Z, so it's the most recent run of the GFS. All right. Let's just run through time here. Some lowered pressure across the Caribbean this weekend, but nothing of organization. A little something in the North Atlantic there, but nothing of organization. There's a decent little something coming off the Cabo Verde Islands, like mid to late next week, but the model's kind of faded out. That Bermuda high just dominating the open Atlantic. I love that. Decent little storm there in the Pacific. You see that in the bottom left corner where it says Orlando? Pacific Basin's active. Nothing in the... there's maybe something. A little... yeah, nothing. Love it. Keep it quiet. There's another something over near the Cabo Verde Islands, but that's July 31st. So GFS keeping us quiet. The European also keeping us quiet. No complaints. No complaints. Let's keep it this way, right? So tropics are quiet. Our forecast is pretty much set up with that afternoon shower and thunderstorm activity. Today, 94 degrees, our high temperature. Next couple of days, we're going to hang in the low to mid 90s. We are going to be getting hotter mid to late next week as more Saharan dust comes in and kind of stabilizes our atmosphere. So, yeah, ace, baby, Lisa. Absolutely. Usually quiets down, but maybe this year will be different, Tom says. Well, it'll be interesting to just track and see how this all plays out, right? Mickey's asking about the upper low by the Bahamas. Yeah, and I'm thinking that upper low, let me pop this up here. I'm thinking that that's probably the Florester, and that it's just this run of it is just not going to be much. This is the 500 millibar chart, which matches the November 5th time frame perfectly. And there's a 500 low there. You can see it right there coming in today, tomorrow, these next couple of days. This is getting super in the weeds. There's a little upper level low coming in on the Florester time frame. Obviously, it's not coming down to the surface, but what it's telling me is that the Florester part of the pattern is there, and it is even kind of favoring the East Coast. So while this version of the Florester is obviously not doing something, I'm telling you right now, it is the next edition of it. It is the next reminder that that part of the pattern exists. So July, June, July, August, September. I'm telling you right now, people, September, we may not and probably won't be as lucky. I'm telling you right now, that September version of the Florester is going to be something we have to watch. When exactly is that? Stand by. And I'll pull the graphic up. This is where the LRC drops breadcrumbs, and you just have to be smart enough to go find them, right? So the version of the Florester, late September, people. Okay? Where's my September calendar? 21st, 22nd in that time frame there. All right? Probably closer to like the 19th, 20th, but in that week. It's showing up on the model. It's not tropical, but this I saw this with like Charlie. I saw this with Harvey over in Texas. We've seen this play out, with so many of these storms that we've gone and case studied. Like Charlie was the big one that I went and case studied. The cycle right before it came through, there was an upper low. Let me find it. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't know what you're looking for. But if you do know what you're looking for, it just keeps your eyes open. So if Charlie hit on August, if we look at the cycle right before Charlie, there was a little piece of, this is July 3rd, 2004, okay? There was a little piece of moisture in Southwest Florida. If you weren't looking, you didn't know. There's a little upper level disturbance. What happened the very next cycle? Hurricane Charlie, So, I'm not telling you, and 2 cycles before Charlie. If you go back to May 23rd, there's your 500, there's your upper level low, Southwest Florida. So we've seen these types of patterns where it doesn't hit the surface, but you get that little upper level dynamic there. It's there. So September, my friends, how does that song go? Do you remember? The what of September?
21st.
Is that the song, the 21st or is it the 23rd? Do you remember the 20-something of September, right? Well, that's the timing. The 21st is what I've got listed. Now, it's probably a little earlier, but the 21st, how funny. That actually fits this. Oh, good. Cool.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Get it? And this is Earth and Wind. It's not fire. Okay. Anyway, there's that. Good morning to you, Robin. So we'll see how this plays out, right? Deborah says, yikes, I have a cruise in September. I would love to go on a cruise in September. I would also say, if you've got a cruise around the 21st of September, that, let's watch and see. It could be a nothing. I'd love for it to be a nothing. Cheryl says, I'm taking notes. Take notes. And what's neat about this is that it doesn't have to be a big system. The LRC just gives you the idea of where there will be little disturbances, little lows, like this weekend, that upper level deal. Steve says, is the September cycle of the Florista the weaker pass or is it the stronger pass? Sorry if my verbiage isn't right. No, it makes sense. So that was a theory. That was kind of a working theory that we were trying. This one is supposed to be the stronger one, and obviously it's not. So I think that we're going to take that theory and throw it out the window. We're trying to figure out what makes certain cycles stronger than others. And we thought that we had found this every other pattern, but it doesn't seem to be playing out well. So
It's in the batter.
yeah, it's in the batter of the mix. We just have to figure it out. So I would say, Steve, that this one is supposed to be the stronger one, but it's not, which is okay. Well, that would be interesting during the peak of season. I know, exactly, Mickey. That's the concern. That's the concern, right? Is if you get the right storm at the wrong time. And that's kind of, that's what our biggest concern has been about the Florista. The Florista to us is we call it the signature part of the pattern. It's the one thing that every single version, it's shown itself. Every single version. Some at the surface, some in the upper levels. This one's going to be upper level, but it's there. And so you're just like sitting there like a deer in headlights, knowing that come peak season, you're not going to love the result. Right? So we'll have to see how that plays out. John says, spot on. Do you remember the 21st of September? Love was changing the minds of pretenders while chasing the clouds away. Yep, now everybody's singing the song. That's okay. Source music match. I love Kenneth is even citing sources. Yep. Let's see here. Of course we booked a September cruise too. Well, there's a reason that those September cruises are a little cheaper, right? Like, if you look at hurricane season month by month, day by day, the peak of hurricane season just happens to fall into that time frame, So I don't know if I said this, but the other day I was looking at cruises. None of us have active passports, so that needs to be fixed, but eventually. And I noticed just how cheap September cruises are. And it's like, oh, that's great. Except I'm a TV meteorologist, and September just happens to be when, you've got literally the majority of the volatility in hurricane season. I mean, look at that. September 10th/11th is the peak of hurricane season, right? And if you look at the month of September, it is more active than every other month by far and away. So yes, it's cheaper, and if you can thread the needle, super cool. Maybe what I do is I book a cruise for next September, super okay with it getting canceled, because then they just put me on another cruise that fits a quieter hurricane time frame. That's being cheap and thoughtful. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Mickey's asking, so I know you like the WESH 2 radar app for precipitation, but what about a radar app for velocity and correlation coefficient? Yes. Oh, nerddom. Love it. So I don't love this app, and I'm trying to find others, but the app that you could use for that would be RadarScope. I think it's got the data, but it doesn't have features. So I'm still looking, but I would say RadarScope. It's a $10 weather app. It'll give you all the raw radar moments. Maybe I should design a radar app. What do you think? My neighbor does software. He does apps. Just need to spend some time together. Maybe that's the $1 million idea. I'd love it. Chris says passports can take longer than normal. I feel like they always took forever. I'm in no rush. I've got a almost 2-year-old with a fever at home. I've got a 4-year-old who I have no desire to take on a ship in the middle of the ocean yet. So we'll get there. Yeah. Design. Wouldn't that be fun, Deb? Like, design the app. Then you got what you want. It does exactly what you want. And then I could charge you for it, and I could become a millionaire. If this happens, just don't tell my bosses at Wesh why I'm leaving. All right, let's take a look, see what's doing. 7-day forecast. Hot today. Rain chances kind of trickling up a little bit this weekend as that upper low, the floor easter piece of the pattern kind of cycles by. Then we'll kind of get hotter again for next week. Questions, comments, concerns? Coffee Talk Cruise Fest. We'll all book the same one during hurricane season's peak. We'll get it cheap. They'll cancel the cruise because there's a hurricane. I'll work. You guys will all play the drinking game. How many times does he say insert random word? And then we'll all go on another cruise during the fall when it's quieter. What do you think? Put in application for passport in May and just got our passports beginning of July. Yeah, like I said, I'm in no rush. I've heard of Radar Omega. Yeah. I mean, I don't, honest to goodness, I don't recommend either. I just don't think they're great. They do that, but they're just not great. John, what don't I like about it? This isn't 1985. I feel like Radar Scope has the data, but it's like 1985. Like, with the processing power you have on an iPhone, you'd think we could do a little better. I don't know. So maybe I should develop an app. Can you imagine the nerves of all of us cruising in hurricane season? But the point is to book it when it's cheap and then not go on that cruise. Go on the cruise when it's usually more expensive. I don't know. Figure it out. And then Eric says you don't need a passport to cruise. Yes, you do if you're going to the Bahamas or what have you. You didn't used to. If memory serves, you didn't used to have a passport, but you do now. Yeah. All right, people. That's all I got. Tropics quiet, storms in the afternoon. I'm okay with it all. Half as active as a normal hurricane season thus far. I'm not saying that, the LRC and the Wesh 2 hurricane season forecast called for that, but all right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will see you guys and gals later on this afternoon. Bye, y'all.